Welcome to Teachings from the Masters with Daryl Shaun Price.
Welcome. So glad you're here today. So I want to talk today about a principle that we bring up a lot in this podcast, and that is that your attention is your superpower. So going back to the beginning of everything, the reason I started this podcast was because it felt like the right thing to do. And as I started to pay attention to all the things it would take to do the podcast, and do I film, and how do I do this, and how do I put it out there, and what platform is it going to be on, it felt good. And here's something interesting I want to point out. So I've been reached out to by a lot of different marketing agencies, and I'm going to be very honest. I have no clue what I'm going to do with this podcast. So I'm not out here to say, oh, I'm going to go make millions by doing this and getting these viewers and signing you up for some masterclass. I have resources available if you want to sign up for them, and they're out there. But there was no goal of, oh, I have to do this to get this, to create this life, to make this happen. I didn't do anything. I paid attention to where it felt like peace. So coming back to what I was saying. So I've been reached out to by a lot of marketing people who say, well, we can make your podcast this much bigger, and we can monetize it this way, and we can get you to sell courses, and lots of businessy people who want to help me do something with the attention I'm getting. And I remember one in particular. There was a gentleman who looked at my podcast and said, hey, you've got about 100 subscribers, and you're probably never going to break that 200 mode without extra help. You've got to market, and once you market, you can get at least 500 subscribers. And then once you do that, then you can start playing the game by doing this, this, and this. And guess what? It didn't feel right, so I didn't do it. And now I have over 500 subscribers on YouTube. Not to mention those of you that are listening on other platforms, or watching the clips that get put onto TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. And this wasn't because, I'm going to go and find all these people and I've got to market and market and market and market. No, I didn't do anything. I paid attention to where it felt like peace for me to pay attention to. And now I've got 500 plus of you that are listening every time I do another message. And yeah, that's exactly how life works. You want proof that attention is your superpower? Look at what I've done with this podcast. Now, let me describe a little bit more and a little bit deeper about what that all means. So, one of the things that I think we do as humans, actually, I know we do. One of the things we do as humans is we allow our awareness to take our attention randomly. And let me talk about what that means. So, your awareness comes from your senses, your thoughts. When you are aware of something, when you perceive something, oh, I just got a bill. I'm aware of this bill. And then your thoughts start to focus on it. Oh, I became aware of something, pay attention to it. I became aware of something else, pay attention to it. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can be a bill. It can be I got in a fight with somebody. It could be, oh my gosh, look at the yard. It needs to be fixed, etc. The moment you start thinking beyond being aware that something exists and accepting that it is what it is, you have decided to put your attention on it. And I know that right now you're probably a little bit confused. Well, but I can't just ignore the things. They're there. Yeah, no, you want to be aware of them and accept that they are what they are. I am aware of everything around me right now. I accept it all is exactly as it is, and I appreciate that it is what it is for whatever I perceive, and that's it. Now I get to choose where my attention goes. And kind of like what I was talking about how this podcast now has over 500 subscribers, it is all about following the peace. That's where the heart comes in. It tells you where to put your attention so that you are creating your happiest life in the easiest way possible, so that you are manifesting miracles. And let me remind you who you are. Podcast is called Teaching from the Masters. And yes, we bring up a lot of things from a lot of different traditions and old masters and great thinkers and philosophers and spiritual leaders everywhere from the ancient to the modern day. And yes, there are a lot of teachings out there that have helped me understand who I am. This podcast isn't actually about me, it's about you. Because you are the master. The teachings are actually from you. I just get to share them to remind you so you can remember. That's what I want to point out is you are the master. Every single thing in your life right now, you are creating and have created by where you have placed your attention. And you know this by watching other people. It's pretty easy to see that, oh my gosh, that person is always drama and makes things so much more complicated in their life than they need to. From their perspective, they're not doing any of that. These things just keep happening to them. But you know that they are often paying attention to the gossip or often paying attention to all the things that could go wrong and in a state of fear. And so it's pretty easy to see in other people that, oh, look, their attention is just creating that for them. It's doing the same for you. So this is great knowledge, but what do you do about it? Let me walk you through a day. So you wake up in the morning. Where's the first place your mind goes? For most people, it's going to be, okay, what do I got to do today? What about this? Am I late? Do I have to get this done, etc.? Let me grab my phone. Let me check my notifications. It's all about replaying the same pattern you've lived in for a very long time. So as you pay attention to that and the same things keep happening, that's what's happening in your life. So what if first thing in the morning, you do not pay attention to the outside world at all. You pay attention to your inner alignment. Okay, I'm starting to wake up. I am aware of the things around me. Oh, the sun's coming in. It is now this time. That doesn't need to mean anything. I feel like I've got to get a drink of water, go to the restroom, whatever. I'm aware. But my attention is going to go to, how do I feel right now? Ooh. I feel good, I feel bad, I feel neutral, I feel anxious. I'm going to pay attention to that feeling. I'm going to let that feeling pass. And then I'm going to focus on me being in alignment. I'm going to walk you through the exact thing I do right now, which you're welcome to use. And I will be recording a guided meditation version of this for you to download later. But right now, let me walk you through it. So I will take a moment, I will close my eyes, and I will focus my attention on the energy center at the root of my spine. The root chakra, the earth energy center from Druidic tradition. It's called many other things in many other traditions, it doesn't matter, but focus my attention there. Once I can feel my attention is focused there, I focus on surrounding that spot with peace, love, joy, gratitude, and bliss. Just those feelings and those energies. And once that center feels lit up, shift my attention. Shift my attention to that center that's just behind the navel, the sacral center, the center of water. Until I know my attention is really focused on that spot. Then I surround it with peace, love, joy, gratitude, and bliss. Once I feel that center lit up, I move up to that center that's just below the sternum, to that solar plexus, the center of fire. And I focus on that point until I can tell that my focus is completely there. Then I focus on surrounding that with peace, love, joy, gratitude, and bliss. Then I do the same pattern, moving up to my heart center, the center of the spirit within. Then to my throat center, one point right there, or the air center. Then up to the third eye, that spot in the middle of your brain, just below where the eyes are. then up to that crown center. The third eye is the spirit below. The crown center is the spirit above. And guess what? Just that process alone, if I were to stop there and say, hey, everything's lit up, it's all flowing, I feel good, I'm in alignment, and my attention was focused on living in alignment. I'm at peace internally, which has nothing to do with what's happening outside. So yeah, it's a tool that shifted my attention first thing in the morning. Now, I go a little bit deeper, and like I said, I will be providing a guided meditation that you guys can follow that lets you go through this whole process too. And I will actually go through each center, and for example, I'll go back now that everything's activated and go to that root center, that center of earth, which is about survival and safety, and channel the element of earth from all around me in through that center so that it is energized. Then move that up to that water center and channel that element of water. And this is preferences. This is desires. This is what you want. This is pleasure. This is enjoyment of life. So from safety to preferences, and then up to that fire one, and I channel that element of fire from all around me. And fire is will. It is identity. This is who you choose to be, what role you're choosing to play in this life right now. And those three centers are your external. And then I feed all that energy I've channeled into that spirit within, in my heart, and just let it swirl there. Then I come to the upper three centers. So those lower three are all about the physical world and interaction with it. Safety, survival. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm tired, I sleep, etc. Preferences. That's how I feel about that. Well, I don't like this type of bed. I like this type of bed. I don't like this type of food. I like this type of food. Identity. Well, I don't eat this because it's not good for you. I only eat this because it's the thing I really like. Those are the three centers about interaction directly with matter and the physical world externally. And this is where most people get stuck, by the way, in those energy centers, trying to shift those things to create reality. And they forget where their real creation power comes from, and that's those upper three centers. So I start back at the crown center, by the way, because I'm going to meet at the heart. So I start up there and I channel the spirit above. The spirit above is pure energy. This is the spirit of creation. This is God. This is the energy that exists in all things and is your spirit. It is pure. It is untapped. It is an uncarved block. It has no form. It is even beyond is. And it doesn't matter what you call it, but that spirit that is pure spirit energy that has no form, channel that. And then the third eye is the imagination, the possibilities. I can form that into anything I want. And I channel that imaginative power of the spirit below. Which that spirit below comes from the heart of the earth itself. And that energy is there because the earth shifts and forms as well. But the idea that anything is possible and I can imagine anything I want. And then air. The element unseen that is not pure spirit, but is thought. This is where the creation happens. All the energy. Now I'm going to give it form. Put that form and all of that channeled into my heart, and it swirls. And the inner alchemy started. And I can take any intention I want through that same process. So let's say it's financial freedom. Boom. I'm channeling the earth around me to shift so that it matches that feeling of financial freedom. I am in tune with what that feels like and what those preferences are, and the preference of being financially free versus not. I am identifying with somebody who is financially free and gets to do whatever he wants with life. Now that's in my heart going. Pure energy that now gets into, pure freedom and the feeling of that and the imagination of that and the thought of what that looks like to me in my heart. And by going through that process, I have spent a great amount of energy paying attention to having my wish fulfilled. And this is just when I get up in the morning. And I've spent a great amount of energy getting an alignment with who I want to be and what I want to experience, and just being in alignment no matter what's happening outside of me. That's now become my reality. So now you go about your day. And even if you were to do this, a lot of people will still go back into the habit of, I'm paying attention to everything I'm aware of. Oh, I'm aware of a bill. Got to pay attention to it. Got to pay attention to it. Got to pay attention to it. No. Do not pay attention to anything that does not feel like what you just aligned with. That's it. Stop. Stop paying attention to it. Okay, but this person called and my job might be in trouble and I've got to do Okay, you're aware. Somebody called. You got to do something with your job you're aware of and are able to do it. That's it. That's all the energy it gets. Everything else goes back to feeling like this. Now, if something pops up that feels like this, that you just aligned with, go. That's it. That's your omen. And yes, this is very, very simple. The reason why it's hard and difficult is because most of what you're experiencing is already created in your mind by habitual attention that you've been giving. I've given so much attention to the life I already have that I'm in the habit of paying attention to it and not shifting here. So here's what happens. I want you to watch your day. I'm going to take you through my day, by the way. So that's how I start my day. Then what do? Whatever feels like peace. Sometimes it's lay on my bed and play with my dogs. Yes, I have 5 little Shih Tzus. Well, 3 little Shih Tzus and 2 half Chihuahua, half Shih Tzus. And sometimes I lay on the bed and play with the dogs. And that's what feels like peace. And your mind's going to go, but you're not paying attention to the things that... And even if your mind is convinced, oh, this feels good, we want to do this. Now, how do we do it? No. If it feels like force, it's not in alignment. If it feels like fighting, it's not in alignment. If it feels like flow, it is. So you only pay attention to what feels like whatever you just align with. And let me be very clear, by the way, you don't even have to have an intention. Let me make sure that I word that correctly. You don't even have to have an intention as you're getting into alignment. If you were just to live in alignment and accept whatever is, without paying attention to anything that doesn't feel like peace, miracles still happen. Your life will still be amazing. But the beauty of it is once you learn to master that, you get to pay attention to anything you want and use that power to create anything you want. You want a life of freedom? You can create it. You want a life where you are adored and admired? You can create it. You want a life where you have so many opportunities to travel? You can create it. Because the outside and what it looks like actually doesn't matter. What does matter? Inner alignment. Are you at peace? And the more at peace you are, the more you can create anything you want, and it will support that. And if something starts to feel like it's not supporting that peace, you're not going to want it anyway. So, coming back to this day by day or throughout the day, how to shift your attention. So you're going about your day, you become aware of something, and automatically your mind wants to pay attention to it. Oh, look, there's a bill. Oh my gosh, do I have enough money? Let me go check my bank account. Oh, look, there's a bill. Let me see if I can pay this right now. Can I pay it? Yes or no? I'm aware of that. Yes, I can pay it right now. No, I can't. If I can't, done. If I can, pay it, done. So what do you do when you find yourself stuck paying attention to something that doesn't feel good? You stop and you go back inside. Sometimes it's as easy as I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to breathe in through the nose slowly and breathe out through the mouth even slower, because that calms my body. Once my body is calm, I can more easily shift my attention. So I shift my attention to my breathing and how I feel until it passes. And if something comes up that feels like that inner alignment, you follow it no matter what. So the other day, I think you guys know, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I'm in the process of moving across the nation for maybe the 4th, 5th time in my life without having an actual plan of where I'm going to end up, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go. I just know what it's going to feel like. And so there's been a lot of looking at houses and trying to get into houses, and things just weren't clicking externally. Like house after house said no, or no, it's not a good fit, or rented to someone else, or whatever else. And then the other day I said, whoa, I'm shifting my attention. I realize I've put a lot of attention on trying to force to find a place. That's not working. Letting it go. I'm only going to pay attention to what feels good. The moment I did that, the perfect house with this beautiful, beautiful pond and nature all around it popped up, and it looks like it's going to be a done deal. And even if it isn't, I don't care. But it fell into place magically, miraculously, without searching, the moment I let go. That's really all it is, guys. And as you go throughout your day, shift your attention. Be aware of the external, but unless it feels like peace, your attention stays here. And we're going to talk a lot more about this as we go. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.